I was taking a shower when my phone accidentally took a picture and sent it to the cold, smart guy in my class. That night, to save my reputation, I climbed into my roommate's bed. "Don't move, they wake up easily," he whispered. I felt something wet on my neck and shivered. "Jake, I didn't mean anything by it." "Jake, actually I wanted to say, why are your feet so cold?" he asked. Jake pulled my freezing legs against his body. His warmth immediately spread to me. I tried to pull away, but he wouldn't let me. He grabbed my hand and frowned. "Your hands are cold too. What were you doing?" I nervously tried to get back to the point. But then Jake placed both my hands directly on his stomach. His muscles were burning hot. He sucked in a sharp breath, but kept his voice steady. "What were you trying to say?" The blanket smelled like him, a clean, woody scent. I wanted to say. My mind went blank. After a moment, I finally regained my senses. "Jake, about that photo from this afternoon, did you delete it?" He made a deep sound. I sighed with relief and timidly pulled back my hands and feet. "I was worried people might get the wrong idea about you. I just wanted to make sure. Since you deleted it, I'll go back to my bed now." His strong hands pulled me into his arms. He guided my fingers back to his stomach, his voice breaking against my ear. "Your hands aren't warm yet. Wait until they're warm." Then he pressed his legs against my feet and said with satisfaction, "Good, your feet aren't cold anymore." I should have refused, but I didn't want to. This feeling of being cared for, I hadn't felt it since I was a child. I nodded, telling myself, when my hands are warm, I'll go back to my bed. Without realizing it, our fingers intertwined under the blanket. I couldn't tell if this was real or a dream anymore. Whatever, I thought. I pulled my hand away and wrapped my arms around Jake's waist like a cat, finding a comfortable position in his arms. Jake held me too, his chin resting on top of my head. This dream felt so comforting. My whole body was wrapped in Jake's scent, fresh, clean, making me never want to leave. Half asleep, I was lying on my side. Long arms encircled my waist. Suddenly, something wet touched my neck, warm breath making me jolt awake. He must have thought I was asleep. His voice was gentle as water. "Alex, call me Big Brother. Call me Big Brother, okay?" Every muscle in my body tensed. Soft lips pressed against my neck, incredibly tender. What time was it? If Mike and the others found me sleeping with Jake, I'd be finished. I pretended to rub my eyes and made a small noise. The warmth behind me disappeared. With an anxious heart, I slowly sat up. I tucked Jake in and carefully started to crawl out of the bed. "What's that noise? What's going on?" I froze. Strange. How did my movements make so much noise? I waited until Mike and the others fell back asleep before trying to move again. But as soon as my hand touched the bed, it made another huge creaking sound. Mike angrily turned on the light. He had a bit of a temper when woken up. He pulled back his curtain and shouted, "Who's making that noise? Can't a person sleep around here? Why are you shaking the bed in the middle of the night?" Terrified, I dove back under Jake's blanket. The noise caught Mike's attention. "Wait, Jake, do you have a rabbit in your bed or something? What's making that noise?" Jake wasn't fully awake, his voice even deeper. "Something fell between the bed frame. Sorry about that." I buried my face in Jake's bust. I didn't even notice my lips accidentally touching his skin. Mike wasn't convinced and got out of his bed. "Jake, why is your bed still shaking?" If I was discovered sleeping with Jake in the middle of the night, rumors would definitely spread. I was about to cry, shaking Jake, silently begging him to do something. But Jake remained calm, not worried at all. With footsteps approaching, I pressed myself against Jake. My nervous breathing kept hitting his bust, making his skin wet. "Oh God, Mike, please don't come over here." He seemed to be right next to the bed now. One pull of the curtain, and he'd see me curled up in Jake's arms. "Mike, why aren't you sleeping? What are you doing up?" Another roommate had joined the scene. Jake lowered his head and whispered so only I could hear, "Kiss me." I froze. Did he know what he was saying? Jake reminded me. He's coming. My mind was a mess. Taking a deep breath, I leaned in. Almost immediately, Jake covered my mouth, grabbed my waist, and moved me to the side of the bed against the wall. Jake's shoulders were broad enough to hide my skinny frame. To avoid being discovered, I pressed myself against the curve of Jake's back. I clearly felt Jake's body shudder. The curtain was suddenly pulled open, and a harsh light came in. Jake had his back to me and spoke coldly. "What are you doing?" Mike scratched his head and mumbled, "Is there nobody else in there?" The other roommate came over and slapped Mike's shoulder. "Come on, what are you doing? Bro, if I don't get some sleep, I'm going to have kidney problems." Mike dropped the curtain. "These dorm beds are so flimsy, always making noise. Let's sleep." I immediately felt relieved. Jake turned his head toward me, his lips curving into a smile. I was a bit angry that he had asked me to kiss him, so I moved back, trying to create some distance between us. His smile faded as he slowly said, "Mike, I think there's something in my bed." Mike immediately came back. I knew it. Before I could react, strong hands gripped my waist, pulling me close. Jake pressed his lips directly against mine. I went numb. My whole body melted, collapsing against Jake, unable to move. Mike could only see Jake's back and kept shouting, "Where? I don't see anything." Jake looked at me with satisfaction. "My mistake. It's just my clothes." Even after the lights went out, I still couldn't process what had happened. Jake held me tightly, and I didn't dare think about returning to my own bed anymore. All these years of friendship and time together, I'd been so wrong. My roommate had clearly been calculating everything all along. Because of that awkward night, I avoided Jake for an entire week. Mike was playing games on his bed when I asked if he had any clothes that needed washing as I was heading to the laundry room. Huh? No, I don't. But his basketball clothes from yesterday, covered in sweat, were still in the hamper. Mike looked at me strangely, avoiding eye contact. Not normal. I raised an eyebrow. Really nothing? He rolled over, sounding annoyed. I'm in my ranking match. Stop asking. On my way to the laundry room, several guys gave me weird looks. One with a cigarette in his mouth looked me up and down, slapped my butt, and laughed. Nice feel. Want to try me instead? I shoved him hard. Don't touch me. We were in a secluded stairwell of the dorm. The guy spat out his cigarette and pinned me against the wall.